Let's see here. All right, let's try this again. Grand rising, everybody. How are you all doing this morning? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Brain Matter Morning Show, brought to you in part by Brain Matter Studios and Brainomaniac Productions. So, grand rising to everybody. Grand rising. Before I get started, y'all know how I do. I want to give a shout out to the Most High for allowing me to use my voice as an instrument to not only encourage myself, but to encourage others. So shouts out to the Most High this morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, followers, family, and friends, how y'all doing on this Thoughts Thursday? Now, I'm just going to go ahead and jump straight off into it because I'm having a special guest. Hopefully, if the connection is there, we will get there. So, let's see here. How can I get this here? Oh, so I ain't worried about that part of that right now. All right. Let me send her another message. Give me 1 second, y'all. There we go. A little temporary thing real quick, y'all. Y'all know how it go. A little temporary little situation real quick. Had to go in there and take care of a couple things. But yeah, I'm back. So today is Thoughts Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, for listeners, followers, family, and friends, today is Thoughts Thursday. So usually I get on Facebook, right? And I just throw it out there. You know, and ask people as far as listener engagement goes. I try to reach out to my listeners to see, you know, how they be feeling. They thought process and things going on. So what I decided to do, I decided to do it myself this morning. I decided I'll do it. And I'll go ahead on real quickly. So let me see how I can do this real quick. So, well, you know what? I ain't even worried about that right now. I'll do that later. Because the published episode, it'll come out later. So, let's talk about process this morning. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about process. So, let me get me another little piece of equipment real quick, ladies and gentlemen, and I will be right back temporarily. Miss Cooper should be stopping through in a little while, so y'all stay tuned for that. All right, let's see. Where is my other phone? This is going to be right here. Turn it on real quick. All right, let me get back over here in the podcasting chair. Because I have built this studio from the ground up, ladies and gentlemen. So today what we're going to talk about, we're going to talk about process. We're going to talk about it in two ways. You know what I'm saying? We're going to talk about trusting the process, but we're also going to talk about being patient with it too. Because see, it takes both of those to see a process through. You got to trust it, number one. Also, you got to be patient with it. Now, I think in season 2, I did, right before the mid-season break, I did a show on the thought process. It was Thoughts Thursday. As a matter of fact, yeah, I did a show on that a while back. And what I discovered, you know what I'm saying, is what I'm going to bring to the light today. So I'm going to topic this as thought process part 2. Because I think in the first one I talked about trusting it. But in this case I'm going to talk about being patient with it. We're going to talk about being patient with it this morning. So, let's go. Process. All right, my other phone should be on, so I'm going to look up the definition of what process is. Because it should be up and running and popping. There we go. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, yes. Sometimes you got to talk to your equipment sometime, man. Just to get it going. So, okay. It might read it to us, but it might not. But if not, then guess what? We'll do it ourselves. Okay. So we're talking about process this morning. And the definition of it is, according to Google, the definition of is a series of actions, step taken in order to achieve a particular end. You know, they also have, other definitions. And it's also, it's a verb. Perform a series of mechanical or chemical operations in order to change or preserve it. But what the first definition is what I'm pretty much talking about. A series of actions or steps taken in order to achieve a particular end. Okay, so that's where we at with that. I just gave y'all the definition for it. So that's what they say process is. But y'all know how I do in my theory. What I believe the process is your order of operations, your daily operations. And see, when you start a business, it's a certain level of steps you got to take, or order of operations. And once you set a plan for what your order of operations should be, then you start to execute it. So, trusting the process is one thing, but being patient with it is another. And a lot of people, they can trust the process, but they don't know how to be patient with it. So that's why I come in and I'm going to teach you how to trust the process. I'm going to teach you how to trust the process, be patient with the process. Because I think in number 1, I talked about trusting the process. But in this one, I'm going to talk about being patient with it. Now, the process is, like I said, the steps in the order and the operation of the things you do to achieve the things you want. But being patient with the process is very key and very vital. Because, see, it's not going to happen all in one day for most people. Or not for majority of all people. So however you want to look at that scenario. It ain't going to happen overnight. It's a series of steps that got to take place in order for you to achieve that, which we call that a journey. See, while you on your journey to business ownership, entrepreneurship, or whatever success is to you, when you on that road, you have to have a strong level of trust in yourself to believe in your ability to achieve your goal. But while you on your journey, it might be a couple of slips, trips, and falls and things along the way that might teach you to be patient with your process. Oh, good morning. I see you down there. Good morning. Welcome to the Brain Matter Morning Show Live. So, it might be some things might go along on your journey that might teach you to be patient with your process. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Okay. You got this great business idea, right? Now you know it's going to take some money for you to be able to get it out there, right? Okay, we all know that. We passed that part. But when you have an idea, that's one thing. But when you got mouths to feed, that's another. If you don't have the capital gain to just go ahead on and just do it right out, you have to, like I learned in math, you have to sometimes break it down to the lowest term to start the process. Because you might not have the $300 to register your business. You know what I'm saying? You might not have the $300 for the certification of formation right then. You might not have the $169 to afford the LLC you need right now. You might not have that. So, one thing I learned in math, you can break anything down to the lowest term through the order of operation. We'll get into that later on. But right now, when you on that journey, certain things happen. Not intentionally, but sometimes it just be a part of the process. You might have to do this a little different way. Like I said, everybody's not financially stable enough to go ahead and just go to the bank. Okay, I got this. Now this is what I want to do. And I want to put $10,000 in this account. And I want to put $20,000. Everybody don't have it like that. So what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to smoke screen the discouragement for when you trust in your process. And the trust in it starts to get wavy a little bit because you probably haven't developed the patience for your process. Now I'm going to give you 3 steps this morning. And I'm going to tell you all right now, on live right now. Am I where I want to be right now? No. Do I got it all figured out? No. Do I have everything legalized that I need? No. But what I'm going to tell you what I do got. And I'm going to explain this through the process of what I'm talking about this morning. So let's continue to go. All right. Let's go back through it. Not too far back deep. But if you want to, once this show airs on publicly, when I publish it, you can go back to season 2 or wherever that episode is called Thought Process. You can listen to that one first, or you can listen to this one first. But either way, it's going to go hand in hand. Trust in the process of being patient with it. It's going to go hand in hand. So let's talk about being patient with the process. Okay, well, how I do that? King, how do I be patient with my process? I don't have the money. I work 8 hours a day. I got to pick the kids up after school. I got to get them home. I got to get them settled. Then I got to sit down and I got to add all my bills up. And King, I don't have it. So what do you mean be patient with the process? I don't see how can I start this idea. So help me. Help me, King. 1 second, y'all. I just heard from Miss Cooper. So, help me, King. How do I be patient with my process? Okay. You know that wonderful idea that you had, right? That wonderful idea that you had. Now the children are in the bed. You know, set yourself down. You know, consolidated all the bills. Now you sitting up. It's 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. And you trying to get yourself to sleep. But something keep pulling at you. Something keeps pulling at you. What is that? Let me find out what that is. All right. Invite. Bam. There it is. All right, we are in the studio this morning. Good morning. How are you doing this morning? Let me turn the volume up because I think this thing tripping. Let's see here because I can barely hear you. All right, but I am here and I can hear you. Yes, I can. We, I am doing no complaining. I am sitting in the studio this morning and I'm talking to my listeners, family, following, friends about not just trusting the process, but being patient with it too. So, no doubt, no doubt, and that you should, because from what I've gathered, now listeners, thought we're gonna get back on subject now, but y'all know how we do, so we boomerang things around here. So y'all go with us now, cause this Miss Cooper, so this has been planned and anticipated in a while. So y'all go with us, so we're gonna go there, but I'm gonna come back there, but I'm gonna go here first. From what I've gathered, as far as why we can't sit down with each other and talk about our hopes and dreams. And I talked about this in a previous show, but the reason I think it is because not enough vision is being put in to the idea that comes from that person. So what I mean by that is you got an idea, you go to a person or you go to somebody you care about and you talk to them about it, you so excited, you so enthusiastic, and the first thing that they do, they go to talking about why they think it won't work. Then they go to say, well, if it was me, why they wouldn't do it. And that sets in discouragement. Now, I did field research on this. I have thrown out feelers just as a test to see the kind of reaction that I get when I put an ideal out there, to see the kind of poise and to see the kind of admiration that somebody that I'm sharing with in close counsel, the concealment of my hopes and dreams. I just throw stuff out there sometimes just to see the reaction that I get. Because I'm a field specialist, that's what I do. I take risks. The greater the risk, the greater the reward. Y'all remember that. So, I do that sometimes. And the kind of reactions that I get, Miss Cooper, sometimes, it's not always pleasant. But some of them are, but some of them not. But what it has allowed me to do, before I allow you to speak, then I'm going to shut up and let you speak. What it has allowed me to do, it has allowed me to not disguise it, but to pull my process out of public eyes. Because see, what that do is, sometimes, Miss Cooper, nobody don't get discouraged or get depressed by themselves. Somebody had to walk them there to that door of disappointment or doubt. And then when you turn around and look, the person that discouraged you, they done left. But what is left behind is that dust, and it settles on the furniture of your ideas.
that either that discouragement, those experiences that we've had, or just kind of worldly wisdom that has been given to people says, don't tell nobody what you're thinking about. Don't tell nobody what you're thinking about doing or the idea that you have, um, because you might encounter that negativity. Um, but the problem with that is that, and I'm glad you specified Black people. One thing that I hope we always remember is that we are a communal people. I don't care what happens. Black people are communal people. We were made to be together. That's why unity is so important for us. Um, that's why family gathering, all those sorts of things, all that is really important to us. And so for us to hoard our ideas and our hopes and dreams with ourselves, that kind of goes against our nature. Now, the thing is, how do you avoid hearing that disappointment? Well, you got to find people who do believe in you. So it may not be that you share your hopes and dreams with everybody, but there is somebody that you can share it with, and there is a group of people who will rally around you and support you, no matter how outrageous your ideas or your hopes or dreams may sound. So that's number five. Number four, I think a lot of times we don't share our hopes and dreams because we might be a little bit afraid to ask for some help. Some of the stuff we, like you were talking about earlier, no, I don't have it all together. I don't have all the funds. I don't have it right now. Some people don't even know the process of researching what it is to get an LLC, all the things that it takes, right? But you know, I know for me, one of the things that holds me back a lot of the times from doing something is kind of this idea of perfectionism, and I feel like I have to be super qualified to be able to do a certain thing, and that sometimes prevents me from asking others for help. So I think that's one reason, another reason why people may not share their hopes and dreams because we're a little bit prideful. We don't want to tell somebody that we don't have it all together or that we don't know exactly how it's going to work, but it's just a vision that we have. Um, the third thing um, is that a lot of times, especially Demetrius, for people like me and you, we are outside of the box thinkers, right? And a lot of people in the world I have discovered and I have observed are really kind of just go with the flow, um, go along to get along, doing what everybody else is doing. And then here comes somebody like me or you or maybe some of your listeners who's like, no, I want to do something that really is not, it hadn't been done before. And I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I just know I have a vision for it. I know it can be done, right? And so sometimes that is intimidating. We've talked about this before. It can be isolating to be different. It can be a very lonely walk to feel like you're the only person in the world who thinks like you do.
Right.
But but again, I have found comfort in realizing that there are other people who think like me. There are other people who support me, uh, even if they don't agree with the way I think. They love me for that reason, and so I would encourage anybody who feels like they can't share their hopes and their dreams because it's different. Go ahead because that's what the world needs. The world needs different. I've had so many people tell me that they like me because I'm different. I'm unlike anybody they have ever known or met. And so yeah, we got to share for that reason. The last two, these are real heavy, um,
Okay.
and heavy, particularly heavy in conversation for the Black community, right? So I think the last two reasons why Black people don't share their hopes and their dreams is um, number two, because unfortunately, one of our downfalls in our community is that we are hypercritical of one another. Um,
Mm.
like
Yes.
we can we can see somebody else doing something of some other ethnicity or other skin color. We can give them props and encouragement what they've done. We can go out and see a movie that don't make no sense, produced and filmed and starring white people. But if Black people do it, then we got so much criticism. Instead of just going and enjoying the movie like everybody else.
Mm.
I don't know why that is, but we criticize each other to no end. We always find a reason to say, well, what you should have done was this, or what I would have done was this, or you didn't do this, or the customer service wasn't good, or the ice wasn't hot or cold, or whatever.
However,
We all, you know what I mean? We always got something to say about each other, and rarely is it encouraging and edifying and builds us. And so I think that, along with what you were saying in the beginning, that really serves as a thing that helps people shut down. They don't want to share when they feel like nobody's ever going to have anything good to say, even if you do believe in it. Always saying, well, what you should do is this, or what you should have done is this, that's discouraging.
yes,
So that hypercritical nature within our community, I think we really got to work on not doing that. We need to give only test out what you're going to say before you say it. Does it help? Does it edify? Does it encourage somebody? If not, then you may not need to say anything. You may just need to listen and keep your mouth closed. And the
facts.
final thing, the final thing that I think is just detrimental in our community, and this is controversial, but um, I do believe that history and the history of the enslavement of black people did a doozy on us psychologically,
Mm.
and I believe that we are definitely suffering from the Willie Lynch syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I believe that we lack trust because it was ingrained in our minds not to trust one another. So when you hear people talking about crabs in a barrel mentality and things like that, I think that that is a huge reason why black people can't or don't or won't share their hopes and dreams with other people because they are afraid of jealousy, they're afraid of people stealing their ideas. Are unfortunately untrusting of one another, and I do think that is a direct result of in the former enslavement of black people and just people trying to survive. Is it a necessarily was it intentionally a bad thing? No, because I realized that we didn't live in that time period, and people do what they have to do to survive. And so there may have been times when people did things that rightfully set people up to be suspicious. But I think we got to stop being so suspicious of one another. One thing that I have learned in the past year that's helped me both personally and professionally is to assume positive intent. That has been kind of my mantra for the past year at work in my personal relationships. Assume positive intent. Assume that if somebody's sharing something with you, they're doing it from a place of um, genuine, genuineness, sincerity, authenticity, and that nobody's trying to hurt you or harm you. And that when you listen to me, my assumption is that you are listening to me because you want to help me, you want to support me. So I'm going to assume positive intent, and until we start doing that, I think we're going to continue. I just feel like we are doing ourselves a disservice. As great of a community as we are, black people, um, we got to stop letting negativity and 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 fear and distrust be our default position when we come into contact with others. So so yeah, Demetrius, it's complex. You set off a whole spiral of thoughts in my head when I read your Facebook post, but I just wanted to share that with you and your listeners, and I will be listening to see how you respond to that because I know you got something good to say.
Oh yeah, you know I do because you know this is very controversial. So
It is.
I'm gonna speak to the detriment of what it is that we talking about.
Yeah.
And that
And
process and those 5 steps, yes, that's perfect.
when you do that, and I'm gonna log off, okay, and I'm gonna listen in because I got to get to work for the day.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you stopping
Good
through.
talking to you. Bye bye.
All right. Thank you so much. Now that right there was the innovative and creative Miss Cooper. So let's dive into it. Let's speak to the point of what she's talking about. Now, she gave you the 5 steps of her theory and thoughts of what it is. So let's just back up a second and let's talk about the perfection part. See, I think predominantly, to a certain extent, we all do, including me, we push so hard for perfection that we don't take time to appreciate the progress that we've put thus far. Because it's got to be this way, it's got to be that way. And I learned this from just sitting around, you know what I'm saying, in my notes and just listening to a lot of TD Jakes. Shouts out to TD Jakes this morning. If you're listening, thank you, because you have been a big inspiration in my life along with a lot of other people, but I'll get to y'all later. So, speaking to that point, every now and then, on your journey to your destination, you have to stop and appreciate the progress that you've made thus far. And pushing for perfection is something that you should do. Whether if you be perfect or not, you should strive for that. But what I call that performance excellence. And how you achieve performance excellence is every now and then on your journey, whichever level you in, you stop, take a moment, sit back, kick your feet up, and give yourself an evaluation, a good positive evaluation on the process and the progress that you are making thus far. Now, speaking to that last point, which was very, 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 it's controversial, but it's true. The suffering of slavery, the Willie Lynch syndrome, and not to mention those Jim Crow laws too now. See, the psychologics, taking the shackles off the feet and the hands and putting them on the brain. See, that's what those laws and that syndrome, because it's to psychologically keep you feeling disenfranchised for generations and generations to come, because it starts from a seed. It's like fear. You take one man, one woman, they breed, have kids. That gene, it flows over, a fear, it flows over, and flows over, and flows over, and flows over, and to the point to where here we are. But I got the antidote for that this morning, and I'm going to give it to you. Because, take it from me, anything that you can learn, you can unlearn. And do it the right way, by choice. You do not have to be defined by circumstance. You do not have to be defined by situation. And like she said, we have to be able to get to a place to where we can sit down and share our hopes and dreams with one another. Just point blank period. And the reason I said this about black people, because I'm a black man. And I refuse to continue to accept the condition from which my people are in. Now that I have been put in a position, which I put myself in this position, to be able to do something about it, I will. At a small scale if I got to. But the way she came in and just dropped those 5 enlightenment points on Topic Tuesday, which flows off into Thoughts Thursday, like I said it was going to do. We just got to create a more positive process for the scope of our success and our dreams. And we can do it together. That diversity, we'll get into that later. Because I don't want to talk about division or subtraction now. Only thing I want to talk about is multiplication and adding. And we'll get into that right there. We'll get into that later. But speaking to the point of Thoughts Thursday, so let's go back. Let's go back to what we was originally talking about. So, How do I do this? How? You got a job, don't you? You got $5. You got $10. You got 20, 30, maybe 50. Save it. Save it. Set a goal. Set you a short, attainable goal. See, that's how I achieved that's how I achieved the process of what I'm on. I went to YouTube and I was flipping through some things and I came across this motivational thing by Dame Dash. Shouts out to Dame Dash this morning, Dash Motors. My bad, I'm sorry, Dash Motors. And the one thing that I've learned from Dame Dash, and not only just him, but from other people, put your own money up. Put your own money up. Okay, so you don't have it all at once, but you can save $10. You can save $50. If you know what I'm saying, and if you don't have it, you'll have it the next time. But you got to make that sacrifice. Save $5, save $10. Okay, if the LLC costs $169, because when I paid for mine, now I'm finna get into the process of how I became. Okay, when I first got started, when I started to take this seriously, I said, okay, what do I need to do now? All right, I need to go out and get an LLC. Okay, what kind of LLC do I want to go get? Do I want to get an S corp? Do I want to get a trust? Or do I want to do a single member? Okay, I decided to go with the single member because because the LLC, I don't have no employees right now. So I decided not to do the LLC. I decided to do the sole proprietorship, just so I can learn how to operate and run a business. But I'm finna give you some keys this morning to the front door, like I always do. You work every day, right? Now go here with me now, and don't be scared to go, cause you ain't coming back once you leave. You go to work every day, right? You work for somebody else. Whether the owner or the manager is standing there, you run their business for them, right? They pay you to do whatever it is that you do in their business, so they don't have to do it. So the same way you go in there and hustle and bustle, you can do that for yourself. Then I get the question, well, King, what do you mean by that? What you mean, King? What you talking about? Okay, you go to work every day. You provide good customer service. You sell the hell out of whatever it is that you doing. You can do that for yourself. You can do that for yourself. Okay, well, how I get started? Okay. How do I get started? Okay, well, just like what I did. I have a podcast, right? So, what does my podcast consist of? It does three things. Because, see, I'm an Excel student. So, when I went back to high school to get my diploma, I learned 3 times fast. So that way, I can create 3 times as fast. So, my business does 3 things. It publishes, it markets, and it promotes. Not just my content, but other content. Okay, so it's a sole member. So you can't pay yourself through a sole member. However they said, you can't pay yourself through that. Okay, that ain't no problem. That ain't no problem. Okay, no problem. I can't pay myself through a single member. I can't do that. Okay, all right, fine. Okay, so I tell you what I'll do. Since my business publish, market, and promotes content, not just my own, but other people, I need to reach out to people to find out if they have a need that Brain Matter Studios can pour into. See, that's what it is, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, followers, family, and friends. When you start a business, what you are starting, you are creating a need that you can provide for somebody that don't have it. Okay, so now you serious. You done went and got your LLC or your sole member. Well, we're gonna come back. I'm gonna tell you how to pay yourself through that. So we're gonna get that in a minute. So what's your next step? Okay, well, okay, I saved up enough money. Now I got the LLC. Okay, what else do I need? Okay, step 2. You go back to the Clerk County office and you ask for a DBA, which is to do business as. Out here in Texas, it's called a certificate of ownership, which grants you the right to do business under that name. Now, when you go in there, they're going to ask you for your EIN, which is your employee identification number, which when you get your LLC or you get your single member, your S trust, whatever it is, they're going to give you a number. It's like a social security number for your business. They're going to give you that number. You take that piece of paper and you go down to your county clerk office, no matter what state you in. Now, some states is free and some states is not. You take that down there, you be like, okay, I want to open up a DBA. And they're going to ask you a couple of questions. And then they're going to be like, okay, this is what you want to do. But see, this is how I'm going to tell you the significant part about this. See, while you filing that, or while they filing it for you, they're also running a search to see if anybody else is using that business name while you sitting there. It don't take a matter of 4 or 5 to see. This is why technology is the biggest gangster in the world. I keep telling y'all. Technology is the biggest gangster in the world right now. Because it's wireless. It shows no favoritism. It chooses no sides. And if you ask the right question, you'll get the right answer. So while you sitting there, while she typing it, or he or she typing it, your information in, they running a search on a whole nother computer to see if anybody is using that name. So it might take all of maybe 2 or 3 minutes and come back and, okay, so now, since I live in Texas, I just have to pay $25. I had to pay $25. So once I paid $25, they gave me the original copy, and I think I paid maybe $3 for like some copies just in case I lose the original. So now you got a DBA. Now you got your LLC. Okay, what else you need? Okay, all right. We getting somewhere now. Now we cooking with grease now. Cause see, in certain states, like I say, it's free. But I hear it ain't for $25. Now, if you go to LegalZoom, Trademark Engine, 1-800 account, ain't nothing wrong with going to those people. Because they do good, exceptional work. Nothing can be further from the truth. But everybody don't have $897 at the ready. Everybody don't have $1,200 and $1,300. Everybody can't set up a payment plan with them every month to be like, okay, I can afford for y'all to take $179 out my paycheck every month or every week or every 2 weeks. I just can't afford that. Because I got these children. I got this car note. I got this mortgage. I'm giving you real life scenario. This is what people be sitting there in their living room consulting with themselves or with their spouse. They be like, well, how we going to do it? We're drowning in debt. Becky need braces. And you know that boy going off to college next month. But don't worry. I got you. I got you. So check it. Now you got a DBA and you got your LLC. You ain't sold nothing yet. But we'll get to that. Cause I'm gonna cut this at an hour. Or I might go a little bit longer because due to the weather outside, I'm pretty much stuck in the house, in the studio today. So pretty much, this is going to be a very inspirational show. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to publish this for the public so they can hear it. So we're going to go a little bit this morning, but not too far, but we're going to go far enough. So, all right. You got your DBA, you got your LLC. Okay, what's the next thing you need? You need a certification of formation, which registers your business with the state, wherever you at, to let it be known that this is your business. And like in certain states it's free, in certain states it might cost a little bit, but I'm pretty sure out here in Texas, I did the research, it costs $300. It ain't no two ways about it. I did the research. Trust me, I tried to find crevices and cracks. I tried to get over it. I tried to get under it. I tried to get around it. But I can't. So the best way it is to go through it. But I don't have $300 right now. So let's go back to step one. You got $10 on. You got 20. When you get off from work on Friday, you off the weekend. You like to drink beer. You be at home, you out there on the grill. You buy you a case of beer every Friday night. Split it. Buy a 12-pack. Whatever it costs you to buy a case of beer, split it. Or whatever it is you do, split it. You put that toward that. And however you get paid. Bi-weekly, weekly. Save it. I'm going to tell you a good saving tip. Now, everybody can't do this. You can save $10 a week, you can save $20 a week. 20 times 5 is 100. All day long. 50 times 6 is 300. So if you save $50 6 times, it's $300. Might take you a little time. Might take you a little time. But you'll get there. But that's not the meat and potatoes of it, King. You still not getting it. You still not getting it, King. You not getting it. I hear what you're saying, King. I'm soaking up the game, but baby, you're not teaching me how to be patient with it. Hold on. We're going to get there. Give me a minute. We're going to get there. I got you this morning. We're going to ride. I got you. Okay, now you done said with the $300. You go back to the county clerk office. And you tell them, I want to open a certification of formation. So what you do, you take out your EIN paper. You take out your DBA. You give that to them. Now, you can do this two ways. You can either print out the form and fill it out and take it to them and let them file it for you. Or you can go down there, get on the computer, tell them this is what you want, and then a little ticket gonna spit out that little thing. And if it's not a lot of people in there, they'll go ahead on and do it for you right then, because the way they do it out here in Texas, you have to set up an appointment to come do it. So when I went and got my DBA, I went in and I set up the appointment. But the lady, it wasn't nobody in there. So she was like, well, ain't no need to prolong the ceremony. Let's go ahead and do it now. The first thing in the back of my mind, won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he do it? That's the only thing I was thinking when I was sitting. Won't he do it? Won't he do it? Won't he do it? So I went on in there, got that filled out. So you are at the county clerk office and you filing your certification for formation, whatever state you in, how much, whatever it costs. Now, like I said, you can do it 2 ways. You either way is it'll be beneficial for you either way. So you go off in there, you tell them, they file it for you. Okay, now we cooking with grease now, baby. Oh yeah, we got a certification of formation in the state that we in. Now it's saying that this is a legal business. And now you have your EIN, you have your DBA, and now you have your certification of formation. Okay, so what I need to do now? Oh, that's the rain coming down outside. I got the window open this morning. Everything's natural and plutonic in here this morning. So lights off, sage going, rain, and no high def technology. I'm doing this with just the simple tools that I have. I'm doing this with the simple. Thank you, Ms. Cooper. I'm trying my best to help people. Because, see, the best way that I can help me is to help other people. So I'm not going to wait before I get back into the process, y'all. Ms. Cooper, I'm not going to wait till I become. I'm not going to wait till, well, let me walk that bike. I'm not going to wait until I get to my destination. Then turn around and talk about my journey. No. We ain't doing that. I'm going to talk about my journey in the process while I'm doing it. So just in case, if I miss a step, or I might misspeak, or I might miscalculate, somebody that's a little bit further than me can reach back and be like, hey, I heard what you said. And I went through your process, but you missed this step. So I'm not going to wait till I'm on MTV or VH1 or BET. I'm not going to wait until I get there. Lifetime Achievement Award. I'm not going to wait till I get there. I'm going to tell you right now while I'm in the process. Because see, I don't have no problem with competition. Now, I can compete. But they don't want that. No, they don't want that. No, they don't want that. I proved that in season 1. When I got those bad emails. No, y'all don't want these. Y'all don't want no competition. You don't want no competition. Not with this here. You think you want this, but no, you don't. Well, anyway, that's something else. I'm not gonna wait, Miss Cooper, until I'm a gazillionaire to try to give out game. I'm gonna get it out on the process. Cause like I said, I'm helping people to help me. So let's go back, y'all. Now you got your certification of formation. You got your DBA, your certificate of ownership, and you got your EIN. Now, okay, what I need to do now? What's the next step? What's the next step, King? What I do? What do I do? You pause for a minute. You take a pause. You go home. Now, this is what I'm finna tell you. This is how you be patient with your process. See, this is why I said technology is the biggest gangster in the world, y'all. I keep telling y'all. Check this out. Now, this is what you can do to be patient with your process. Now, you got all 3 of these steps that you got, but you ain't got no money. So, this is what you do. You go home. You go home. You find your quiet place. Now, when you get home, it might not be no quiet place because you got a household to run. So you're going to have to be patient with the process. You have to wait. And you sit down. And you think about what it is that you do. Okay, so I'm a very good speaker. I have a podcast. Okay, so how do I be patient with my podcast until I get these steps together? Well, you ever heard of Amazon.com? Vistaprint, all these online marketplaces. Perfectly, I recommend Amazon because see, Amazon, if they don't have it, they'll go out and find somebody that do got it. Might take a little time. So, like I said, I got a podcast. You like to make whatever it is that you like to make, whatever it is you do, you good at that. So, in order, and this is primarily with a lot of businesses, you're going to need some merchandise. So, create you a coffee cup, a tumbler, hats, t-shirts, keychains. See, I ain't even got into step 4 yet. So I'm telling you how to be patient with the process until you can do this step that in step 3. Now you don't have to do this. You can just go flat out and do it. But remember what I said earlier in the podcast about putting your own money up? That's a form of putting your own money up. Now, the stuff that you doing for your business, you just promoting yourself. Amazon will allow you to create an online market, not only to sell your merchandise, but to sell other people's merchandise through them. But we'll get to that in a minute, because see, it's a step that you got to do before you get there. Because see, I don't want to mislead you. So, being patient with the process, I like to drink coffee. Well, I love to drink coffee. So my podcast pretty much targets coffee drinkers and deep thinkers. And that's my target audience. But I have a multiculturalistic podcast. That means it ties into damn near any subject. We can go there. Egos, we can go there. So I just start creating things. First I started with the coffee cups. I made 2 coffee cups. Okay, they turned out real good. Okay, so I made a hat, or a studio hat for myself. And then I work outdoors sometimes, so I made me some custom Brain Matter Morning Show, Brain Matter Studio sleeves. That also, when I'm out there in the weeds cutting, I ain't got to worry about the sticker brows sticking me up. And also, it keep my body cool. And it'll keep me from getting bit by the mosquitoes. So, I also work outdoors. So, you can go to Amazon. You can custom make you some tumblers, some water bottles, keychain holders, wallets, whatever it is that you doing. You can go on there and custom create, and they send it to you. And once you send it, they send it to you. It looks great. You like that. You know what I'm saying? This is what you do. You now have a brand. Now you have a brand. You have your own brand. See, there you go. Now you got yourself something, baby. Now you got a brand. You have a brand now. So this is what you do. Now that you're being patient with your process by creating merchandise to advertise and promote yourself. You take those 3 pieces of paper, the EIN, the DBA, and that certification of formation, and you take it to a bank. Now you can do this 2 ways also. And this is something that I recommend. I recommend that you go with the bank primarily that you're already with. Or you can go outside the network. You go in there and you tell them, I want to open a business bank account. And they're gonna ask you what kind of business account you trying to open. A single member, LLC, such. However, they're gonna walk you through the steps, and you tell them, even if you don't know, you tell them what it is you're trying to do, and they'll figure it out for you. You take that piece of paper, take it in the bank, and they're gonna open you a business bank account for your business. Now you have a business bank account for your business. But I ain't making no money yet. Yes, you finna start. Because you know that merchandise that you was making, all you got to do is go to Barcode Mania. BarcodeMania.com. And you can buy barcodes. Once you buy you some barcodes, when you go to your online market, you can request that your barcodes be put on your merchandise. And now they done got it so, technology done got it so to the point to where now you can put a QR code on it. They can just give you a QR code and it'll take you straight to it. Scan this QR code. It'll take you straight to your online market, to your merchandise. And you might have other stuff in your marketplace that people might buy. Generic stuff that people use every day. See, it ain't just to promote your stuff. You can sell other folks' stuff too. So now, you got merchandise. You got everything you need. But there's one more step. I'm going to get it all to you this morning because I'm doing it too. You got to get it trademarked. Your logo's your name. You got to get it trademarked. And like I said, in some states it's free, but in some states it's not. So you go back to your county clerk office and you type in there on that computer, how can you trademark your name and your logo? They're going to give you the form for it. And you're going to look at it. And then you're going to schedule your appointment. They're going to give you this little ticket. You go right in there to the lady or the man or whoever. And you tell them this is what you want to do. And the same process that you did with your DBA, that you did with your certification of formation, they're going to run a search. And see if anybody's using that logo or using that name anywhere in perpetuity throughout the universe. And once the results come back 100% that it's yours, they'll slap that trademark on it. So that gives you the right for anybody that uses your products or service, they must get written consent from you. Because I'm going to tell you something before I close this today. People don't buy products. They buy confidence and self-esteem. So if you are confident in your brand, and if you have the self-esteem to promote, publish, market, advertise, and be committed to it, they'll buy it. They'll buy it. They will buy it. Now, in the next episode of the Brand Matter Morning Show, we're going to break down the marketing triangle. The 3 steps of the marketing triangle. As a matter of fact, I don't think I'm rolling so good because, see, I don't like to make promises that I can't keep. So, I'm going to try my best tonight when I get in. I'm going to try to do the live show, of the marketing triangle. Because a lot of my listeners are around the world. So Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I'm on Podbean Live right now. Miss Cooper just came in maybe 30 minutes ago. So this is being broadcast around the world. And right now it's morning here. But it's evening or night somewhere else. So when I check the analytics for the show for the day, I see a lot of my listeners around the world. They catch the live show. And the other half, they catch the published show. Now, when you come back across the water to the United States, once I publish this episode, they get it if they didn't do like Miss Cooper did and listen live. So once I add this episode and it published, now it's at home. But internationally, it's already around the world. And in the next show, I'll tell you how I did that. How did I get around the world? I'll tell you that because it's all a part of marketing. So we'll get into that in the marketing set. But let's get to the meat and potatoes of what it is that we're talking about this morning. Now, listen to me very carefully. All the steps that I gave you and everything that Miss Cooper gave you this morning is the concealment to a revelation of what we feel. The reason why certain things are the way they are. Now, I'm pretty sure she can agree with me on this. We didn't do this because we want sympathy or we want somebody to feel sorry for us. No. We are doing this so we can light a spark of an idea of what the basis of what I'm talking about this morning when I get ready to give my final thought, and which will be just in a few minutes. We putting ourselves in a position to not do something about it just for ourselves, but for other people. So, in conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, listeners, followers, family, and friends, in closing, you remember that statement I made back in the beginning of the show when I said, anything you learn, you can unlearn? That's true. So, you want to fix the state of Black America? The independent, economical, and financial situations you want to put yourself in, you want to put your people in. Now, I'm not talking about the majority. I add that into another subject. I'm talking about the masses of people. If you really want to see the state of Black excellence reach, not only to the point of excellence, because see, one thing about it, excellence don't mean perfection. Excellence just means excellent. And just like my constituents and just being just a field researcher, if y'all want Black liberation, we ain't got to do it how other ethnicities have done it. Give me liberty or give me death. We don't have to do that. You want to see the state of Black America change? Start a business. Start a business. Take these simple steps, and they're not really cost effective. And start your own and help your people. And there is nothing wrong with that. Now I'm going to give you something before I go. But you want to see the state of Black America change? Start a business. By the end or the beginning of this year, or by say mid-spring 2024, one out of every 4 black neighborhoods needs to have a business in it. Whether it's a home-based business or it's a commercial business. One out of every home, 4 homes in Black America should have its own business. And for the ones that live there and can't find a job, find out how you can work for something that's right there in your neighborhood. That's what the other races and ethnicities are doing. And those 5 steps that Ms. Cooper gave us this morning, if we start to destabilize that way of thinking, then we can get going in the right direction. So, there it is for you. That's Thought Thursday for you, baby. You want to change your situation, or you want to change the situation around you? Start a business. The same thing you go to work and do for other people, you can do that for yourself. Because me and my cousin Junior, shouts out to Charles Green Jr. this morning. Because we talk about this all the time. If not every day, every other day. The same thing that we doing for other people, we could be paying ourselves to do it. My cousin right now, he's a heavy machine operator. So he going to school now to get his certifications, licensing, get his license and stuff he need, so he can subcontract out himself. Start his own thing. Same thing I'm doing. Start working for yourself. And I'll tell you how to, and then the next one, I'll tell you how to maintain it through marketing. But that's the show, ladies and gentlemen. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I hope you helped somebody. I want to thank all my listeners, followers, family, and friends for allowing me the privilege of some of y'all time to talk about something that is so divine. I want to thank the cheerful, the honorable, and the lovable Miss Cooper for stopping through and dropping those 5 jewels of what she feel like if we destabilize that way of thinking to a new way of thinking. And you remember that thing, Miss Cooper, that you talked about when I first met you at the sales center, when you was giving your presentation about start, stop? The minute we stop that, we can start this. That's the show. Y'all be good. Be blessed. Less stress. Stay hydrated. Stay motivated. Stay dedicated. But most of all, stay together. If not within oneself, with each other. And on the next episode of the Brain Matter Morning Show, we'll be discussing the marketing triangle. And I will break down each step for you. For you to tie it in to the 4 steps that you just completed. And you ain't even got to write this down. You can go back and listen to the show. This will be the best 1 hour and almost 20 minutes that you done got. So y'all be good out there. Be blessed. We'll see y'all on the next episode of the Brain Matter Morning Show. Live. Aircraft Crowley signing off.